You're sitting at the kitchen table one afternoon, and you notice something you didn't used to. You feel a bit more tired, your ankles look a little puffy, and your blood pressure has been creeping higher over the past few checkups. It's easy to shrug and say, well, I'm over 60 now. This must be how it is. But often your body is sending gentle signals that certain organs, like your kidneys, could use a little extra care. And the beautiful thing is, there is something you can do about it, starting with what lands on your plate. Have you ever stopped to wonder whether some of the healthy foods you've always trusted might need to be adjusted a bit now that your kidneys are working harder than they used to? Your kidneys are quiet workers. All day, every day, they filter your blood, balance fluid and minerals, and help keep your heart, nerves, and muscles in rhythm. As we age, this filtering process naturally slows down. That doesn't mean your kidneys are failing. It simply means they're more sensitive to overload. Vegetables are still one of the best gifts you can give your body, but some are very concentrated in certain minerals and plant compounds. For younger kidneys, that's usually no problem. For aging kidneys, especially if you have diabetes, high blood pressure, or early kidney changes on your lab work, too much of a good thing can become extra work. So instead of saying never eat this or being afraid of your food, let's take a calmer, wiser approach. Which vegetables are easier on aging kidneys? Which ones may need a little more moderation? And how can we swap or prepare them in a way that keeps both your kidneys and your taste buds happy? Let's start with a colorful favorite you might be proud to have added to your diet: beets. Beets bring beautiful color to salads, side dishes, and even fresh juices. They're rich in nutrients and naturally support circulation. But they're also high in something called oxalates, tiny plant compounds that can team up with calcium and form crystals. For many people with healthy kidneys, those crystals are filtered out and never cause trouble. For older adults with slower kidney function, a big daily dose of high oxalate foods can add extra strain over time. Think of someone in their late 60s who decides to drink beet juice every morning because they heard it might help their blood pressure. At first, it feels like a super healthy habit. But after a few months, they notice a dull ache in the lower back, maybe more swelling in the ankles and deeper fatigue. A checkup shows the kidneys are a bit stressed and small oxalate deposits are starting to form. So when they switch from daily beet juice to gentler vegetables, use beets only occasionally, and cook them in water, then discard the cooking water, their energy begins to return. The beets themselves weren't bad, they just needed to be used more like a garnish, not a daily main event. You can still enjoy beets in small portions, especially cooked, and pair them with calcium-rich foods like a little yogurt or cheese to help block some oxalate absorption in the gut. And on days you have beets, it helps to skip other high oxalate foods like large portions of spinach or nuts at the same meal. Which brings us to our next vegetable of discussion. Spinach is another food many people over 60 are proud to eat more of. It shows up in smoothies, salads, and sautéed side dishes. It's loaded with vitamins and antioxidants. But like beets, spinach is also very high in oxalates, especially when eaten raw and in large amounts. If your kidneys are already working harder, a big raw spinach salad or daily spinach smoothie can sometimes be too much of a good thing. Over time, that can contribute to kidney stones or quietly irritate kidney tissue. Oxalates can also interfere with how well your body absorbs calcium, magnesium, and iron, and these are nutrients older adults often need more of, not less. This doesn't mean spinach is forbidden. It simply means it's a food to treat with respect. If you enjoy it, consider using smaller portions and cooking it briefly in boiling water, then discarding the water. That one step can remove a large portion of the oxalates, turning spinach into more of an occasional side than an everyday base. You can also rotate with gentler leafy greens like romaine, butter lettuce, kale, or bok choy. These alternatives are still nutrient-dense, but lighter on oxalates and often easier on the kidneys. When you think about your weekly meals, does the same superfood show up almost every day? And could your kidneys be asking for a little more variety instead of constant repetition? If so, maybe a slight change in these foods may be needed. Now let's shift to a different concern: potassium. Your heart, nerves, and muscles depend on potassium. It's essential, but it's also something your kidneys help regulate. When the kidneys slow down, extra potassium can linger in the blood instead of being cleared out. That's where foods like sweet potatoes come in. Sweet potatoes are rich in fiber, vitamin A, and vitamin C. They can be a more stable, nourishing option than many sugary or refined side dishes, but they're also fairly high in potassium. For someone with healthy kidneys, a medium sweet potato is usually a wonderful choice. For someone with kidney changes or reduced kidney function, that same portion, especially eaten often and combined with other high potassium foods like bananas, beans, or tomatoes, might push potassium levels higher than is safe. The goal isn't to never enjoy sweet potatoes again. It's to be mindful of portion and preparation. Half a cup of boiled sweet potato is much gentler on the kidneys than a large, fully loaded baked one. Boiling and discarding the water can lower the potassium content, while roasting tends to keep more of it in. On days when you have sweet potatoes, it can help to skip other strong potassium sources at the same meal and balance your plate with lower potassium vegetables like peeled cucumbers, cabbage, or cauliflower. Tomatoes are another regular guest on many plates, in salads, sauces, soups, and juices. They bring color, flavor, and heart-friendly nutrients, but they also add up in ways we don't always see. Tomatoes contain a moderate amount of oxalates and a fair amount of potassium. A fresh tomato here and there usually isn't an issue. But think about tomato juice at breakfast, tomato sauce on pasta at dinner, pizza on the weekend, and salsa with snacks. All of those small servings can add up to a concentrated load, especially when we use canned sauces, pastes, and juices that pack many tomatoes into a single portion. If your kidneys are delicate, that steady stream can become a bit much. You might notice swelling, more frequent back discomfort, or subtle changes in blood pressure, small hints that your body is asking you to ease up. Instead of cutting out tomatoes completely, you can shift the balance. Use them as accents rather than the main base of every meal. Try some tomato-free pasta nights with olive oil, garlic, and herbs. Rotate in lower potassium vegetables like bell peppers or zucchini. And when you do enjoy tomato dishes, keep portions moderate and stay well hydrated to support your kidneys as they do their filtering work. And then there are potatoes, the classic comfort food. Mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, fries, chips. They've been part of family meals and celebrations for decades. Potatoes are familiar, filling, and easy to prepare. But they're also one of the highest common sources of potassium, especially when eaten with the skin and in large portions. For kidneys that are slowing down, frequent big servings of potatoes can quietly raise potassium levels over time. Processed forms, like fries and chips, often bring extra salt and unhealthy fats along for the ride, which can add even more stress for people already managing blood pressure or heart concerns. Again, this isn't about fear. It's about smarter choices. If you love potatoes, you might peel, cut, soak, and boil them in plenty of water to reduce some of the potassium. Keep portions to a small scoop rather than filling half the plate. Avoid pairing them with other high-potassium foods in the same meal. Rotate in other sides like rice, cauliflower mash, or roasted carrots and green beans. These shifts allow you to keep the comfort and tradition while giving your kidneys a gentler workload. Somewhere in the middle of all this information, it's natural to pause and ask, do I have to remember every number and every nutrient, or can this be simpler? The answer is it can be simpler. You don't need to memorize milligrams of potassium or oxalates. You just need a basic pattern. If your kidneys are healthy, enjoy a variety of vegetables and talk with your doctor about any specific limits. If you already have kidney disease or reduced kidney function, focus on variety, moderation, and swapping a few higher-burden vegetables for gentler ones, guided by your healthcare team. And that brings us to some of the quiet heroes of a kidney-friendly plate. Cauliflower is one of those vegetables that doesn't shout for attention, but works wonderfully in the background. It's typically lower in potassium and oxalates than potatoes or beets, yet it offers fiber, vitamin C, and helpful plant compounds. Mashed cauliflower can step in for mashed potatoes. Roasted cauliflower with a drizzle of olive oil can become a cozy side dish. Small florets can be added to soups and stir-fries. Each time you use cauliflower as a swap, you lighten the load on your kidneys without sacrificing satisfaction. Cabbage is also another gentle ally. Shredded into a salad, cooked into a warm soup, or sautéed with a bit of onion and olive oil, it brings crunch, comfort, and a boost of vitamins, including vitamin K and other antioxidants that support circulation and vessel health. Because it's naturally lower in potassium and phosphorus, cabbage is often easier for sensitive kidneys to handle. And it's widely available and affordable, which makes it a practical choice for many households. Peeled cucumbers may seem simple, but they're also a smart choice as a vegetable swap. Their high water content and low mineral load make them especially kind to the kidneys. You can add slices to salads, enjoy them as a refreshing snack, or infuse water with cucumber slices for a gentle, hydrating drink. Together, vegetables like cauliflower, cabbage, and peeled cucumbers help your kidneys by offering nourishment without overload. How would it feel to know that a few simple swaps in your kitchen are quietly giving your kidneys room to breathe and recover? As you adjust your plate, one more piece is essential: partnership with your healthcare team. This kind of information shared in this video is meant as education, not as a personal prescription. Everyone's kidneys, medications, and medical conditions are different. Before making big changes to your diet, especially if you already know you have kidney disease, diabetes, or heart concerns, it's wise to talk with your doctor or a renal dietitian. You can even bring a simple list. How often do I eat potatoes, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, beets, or spinach? Are my potassium or kidney numbers ever borderline or high? Which swaps would you recommend for me personally? A short conversation can turn general guidance into a plan that fits your body and your life. So, let's bring everything together in a calm, clear picture. You don't have to give up vegetables. You don't have to fear your food. You simply become more aware of how your kidneys are doing, which vegetables are heavier hitters, and which ones offer similar comfort with less strain. You might enjoy potatoes, sweet potatoes, beets, spinach, and tomatoes less often, in smaller portions, and more often cooked in ways that reduce their load. Rotate in more cauliflower, cabbage, peeled cucumbers, and other kidney-friendly choices. Stay well hydrated so your kidneys can do their job, and check in with your doctor about your kidney health and potassium levels. Over time, these small changes can help you feel lighter, less swollen, more energized, and more confident that you're supporting the organs that quietly support you every single day. Which one small change feels most realistic for you this week? Swapping one side dish, adding a new vegetable, or simply talking with your doctor? Your kidneys may be quiet, but they are loyal. They show up for you moment after moment, year after year. And every thoughtful choice you make, every gentle swap, every bit of extra water, every balanced plate, is your way of saying, I see you. I'm taking care of you too. Every day is another chance to care for the body that's carried you this far. Keep learning, keep moving, keep believing in your own strength, because aging isn't slowing down, it's leveling up. If today's message resonated, take a moment to subscribe, leave a thought in the comments, or share this video with someone who could use a little encouragement. Because together, we're proving that aging well isn't the exception, it's the standard.